Hey traders, Raghee here. Happy Monday, everybody. Good to see everyone. I am sad to say I missed you all on Sunday for this week in the market live. We will probably do that maybe this evening. We'll figure that out. I will definitely make some time to do that either tonight or tomorrow. In the meanwhile, thanks so much to my Sector Secrets Mastery folks for punting with me. We had I had some technical difficulties with the internet on Friday. It's been a long, long time since that's happened, but everything seems to be fine now. And yeah, it really, really important lesson to everyone from Friday. And I wanted to share this with everyone because this kind of stuff is going to happen. I've been living in South Florida for most of my life at this point, and hurricanes happen, nasty storms happen, and we're going to lose internet. We're going to lose power. And even though I've got two giant battery backups here, it is finite, and you don't want to be limping along on backup in case something does happen to the internet versus just power. Anyway, that being said, it's just such a great reminder. And it's, like I said, it's been a while since it's happened to me. And one of the cool things is I can take this thing out and I can go ahead and exit my trades on it, which is ultimately what I ended up doing, managing. But the cool thing is, because everything I do, and I'm going to take y'all to Friday's notes, because everything I do is in the notes, right? I'm putting in what we want to do. So on Friday, we bought 180 calls in Apple. We bought Google 122 calls. We bought TLT. You can see what we did here. And then you can see pretty much when I lost power, which was shortly after 10 a.m. Eastern. But because I had all my plans already laid out, because I wasn't just relying on just memory or just my order entry platform, it was far easier to manage. It was far easier for everyone in the Sector Secrets Mastery Room to manage in my absence. And big shout out to Bot, because Bot, what did you guide them to? I think we had, what did we do on those three? I think Apple was a 2x trade. I think TLT was a 2x trade. So, when we have these kinds of issues, if we have the backup plan, it's going to help a lot. So I just wanted to put that out there because, those kinds of things are going to happen in our trading. All right. So as always, thank you so much for being a part of Charts and Coffee, our Caffeinate and Dominate crew. Yeah, we took profits on TLT, Apple, and Google. Yeah, awesome. So that's what I love. And everyone knew my plans because entry was already in there. We know our risk management exits, right? We're already there. So whether I was there or not, everyone knew what to do. I love it. I love it. Oh, and then the bot. Oh, you put a fourth trade in there when I was gone and y'all made money on the Russell? That's awesome. All right, so let's get to it. Good morning. Good morning. All right, first up, question from Danny. Toss has switched to the September contract on the S&P. That is correct. CME shows greater volume in June. That's probably from Friday, Danny. Yeah, that's probably from Friday. So if we go to take a look at volume, it's not by much, but you will see. Let's see. You will see that. Yeah, there it is. You've got 213,000 in June. You got 264, almost 265,000 as of, as you can see right there, 8:56 Eastern, 7:56 Central this morning. Yeah, the volume is in September, the U contract. So it has rolled. What you might be looking at might still be reflecting Friday's volume and not what's happening in the futures quite yet, is my guess, Danny. No worries, though. Yes, we are in the September contract. Yes. All right. Do extended hours really matter? Well, Sergio, it depends on what you're trading. I don't feel there's really such a thing as extended hours on futures, right? These are the hours, right? So if I'm looking at the S&P, it's been open since 6 p.m. Eastern last night, and it's been moving along with good open interest, good volume, good participation, good attention, right? So I don't believe this is pre-market or extended. It is the hours of the S&P futures. But what probably you're asking is, well, does the same thing apply to, say, Apple? does it apply there? Where do I really need the pre-market or the post or quote unquote extended? I do like having them. And here's the reason why, whether it's Exxon, whether it's SPY, whether it's Apple, the reason I like them is because my indicators, our indicators all are calculating open, high, low, close. And I don't want a sudden burst of indicator reading right at 9:30, even if it's lower volume, which it is, right? Even if it's lower volume, I'd rather have something already brewing. I'd rather have a rolling start to my day than all of a sudden getting instant readings at 9:30. So for me, yes, absolutely. It does matter. Yeah, it does matter. All right. So I appreciate the question. And I think a lot of folks wonder about that. Rog, can I just use 9:30 to 4? And look, SPY does have some action. And by being able to anchor my VWAPs, by looking at the volume, and volume absolutely does matter, gang, especially when you're looking at pre-market, especially when you're looking at futures, volume matters. When people say volume doesn't matter, that's like saying the amount of attention and trades that happened at a certain price doesn't matter. We know that's ridiculous. So remember, volume does matter. Volume-based price levels are when people talk about, Rog, how do I decode where the size is coming in? How do I know where the big money is coming in? How do I know where the institutions are getting involved? Right? Size, volume, absolutely. Right? They can't operate at illiquid levels. So that's why we watch that volume. And this way I get that running start. And by the way, if you're already looking at the volume on the levels and the pre-market, quote unquote, pre-market on the S&P, you've got an edge over someone who's just starting up the QQQ or just starting up the SPY at 9:30, because whatever was happening pre-market in the ES and in the NQ and in the YM is going to factor into SPY, QQQ, DIA. If you're looking at ZB futures, it's going to factor into TLT. If you're looking at the GC, you guys get my point, right? You all get my point. It's going to factor into GLD. So it's really powerful to have it, especially if you're trading those ETFs that are related back to these futures contracts that trade nearly 24 hours a day. All right, can we take a look at V on the daily? Absolutely. All right, so let's move the 5-minute and the 60-minute over. Let's move it over. And here comes Visa. Hey there, editor. Visa, MasterCard, JP Morgan. We have a handful of relative outperformers, not necessarily in uptrends, but we have a handful of relative outperformers in the XLF ETF. Now, some of you might remember we talked about 4,300 on the ES and that it would be ideal if XLF and XLV participated in the uptrend that had been at that point, pulled higher by nearly exclusively tech XLK. So I'm looking at these anyway. So great question. The closer we get to the 200, editor, so I've got a fast and a slow exponential moving average. And why exponential, not simple? For the same reason why there's recency bias in the market. We all weight, whether we do it consciously or not, we tend to weight things that have happened more recently, heavier, right? More heavily than things that happened further back, right? Longer ago. And so since we have this recency bias, why not use a moving average that's calculated in that way? And that's why I like exponential moving averages over simple. In this case, I've got a slow, the 200, and a fast, the 8, crisscrossing, interacting with price. That's why those dots appear. And when those dots are on, the probability of the 200 holding as dynamic support is simply higher. So the closer we get to that level, editor, and or the daily price movement range, the volatility-based support zone on this chart, the closer we get down there, I would be a buyer. Yeah, I would absolutely be. It's a relative outperformer. And then what I really want to make sure, editor, and we do this every day in the Sector Secrets Mastery, is we're looking at relative performance always. But a lot of folks talk about relative performance, but they forget the relative part. So let me tell you what that means. Relative to what, right? Not relative to the vast disconnected stocks that are not usually very heavily weighted to the indices in the sea of, say, 3,000 to 6,000 liquid names. We're talking who are they moving with? Which index, which sector? So if XLF is moving higher, we want to find those bullish relative performers. And you can see the participation from XLF. We want V to be moving with XLF. All right, next up, Netflix. On the 5-minute, sure. I mean, please remember it's, 12 minutes before the bell's going to ring. But yeah, let's see what we're going to inherit at the bell, at the bottom of the hour. And right now, pre-market, Netflix is below the 7 and the 2 a.m. anchored VWAP. It's in a very potentially fresh downtrend. And look, if I'm looking at Netflix, I'm going to look at things like XLC. I'm going to look at things like NQ. And I want Netflix to be moving with that index, sector, stock, right? So if I'm going to be day trading something, I want it to be tethered to the broader narrative. I want it tethered to the tides, as I call them, the sector or the index. And if it's not, I'll usually leave it on the side. So Robert, if Netflix doesn't look more like the NQ, if Netflix doesn't look more like the heavily weighted sectors that it's in, then I'll probably leave it be. Okay. All right. So that is Netflix. And while it is tempting to try to find a name that's going to play catch up, remember, sometimes stocks have narratives all of their own. Now, hey, even though you asked about the 5-minute, Robert, let me mention the daily price movement range could be a very tempting short-term swing, really nice short-term swing, because the 60-minute and the daily of Netflix are in uptrends. That's going to validate by the dip, and that dip could very well be our daily price movement range volatility zone. So I definitely keep an eye on that. Yeah, absolutely. All right, next up, can we take a look at XRP? All right, let's take a look at XRP. If I can type it in, there we go. All right, so XRP on the daily, let's move that over here. Okay, so XRP, right? How come it's not coming up? XRP. I don't know what this is. Oh, you're talking about Ripple? Oh, yeah. I'm not tracking crypto at all, Joe. Yeah, I'm not tracking crypto, especially. Yeah, I'm not tracking it at all. Sorry. I haven't been keeping an eye on it in any way. Yeah, it's crypto. Yeah, I'm thinking stock. Sorry. I really haven't been keeping an eye on it, to be honest. So I can, if that's something you all want to start looking at, that's fine. I was heavily involved with crypto, much more so in 2016. And I'm not really an avid trader of it. I bought in 2016 a number of coins, and I'm a hodler, diamond hands. So yeah, I haven't been trading it. So I haven't been active. So I don't mind to look at it. If there's more interest, we can start adding it to the conversation. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Oh, no sorries. I don't want to give you analysis on something that I haven't looked at all, and I can't tie back to a general understanding. I mean, that's just irresponsible, right? But if I get back in the rhythm of crypto, I'd be happy to do it. All right. So 5-minute Tesla last Friday. Would I have shorted it? I'll be honest, Sergio. I don't like questions like that because would have, could have. It only matters what I did. However, I can appreciate the spirit of the question. So based on the tools, which you all are probably pretty familiar with, you know that structure dictates strategy. So the question is last Friday. Depends on when, Sergio. Yeah, that's a question I can't answer. Right? I mean, I could say, yeah, in the red, it was neutral overbought. There's your short in the red zone between 250 and 252, right? There's another short probably here at 11. But, kind of going back in time, would I have? It was viable back then. It was viable at 1230. And then, so chances are I wouldn't have done much with it. I can't go back and give you a really good analysis of it. But did it hit zones where we could have shorted it? Yes, it hit the hourly price movement range. I got to tell you, pretty much perfectly. So for whatever that's worth, there's your neutral environment. Just past the clearing, shot up into the red zone of the hourly price movement range with an overbought stochastic. That's pretty much as textbook a short as you can get if you're going to use price and volatility to do it, and time for that matter. It's nice that it happened after 10. All right. Let's see. Robert says, thank you so much for looking at Netflix. I hadn't looked at the correlation with NQ and scanning for overextended shorts. Yeah, Robert, there is a chance that some stocks will play catch up, right? And thanks for the comment. There is a chance that some stocks will play catch up to the broader averages. And while that is definitely something that we would see, it's a little bit more related to, say, rotation. It's a little bit more related to the bargain hunting of, hey, we bought all these things. These things are at highs. What's a better deal right now? What's a blue light special, as I like to think about it? And that's where you're going to start to see traders go into it. You can see there XLC. So I would compare Netflix to other stocks in XLC. I would compare Netflix to other stocks in maybe CLOU or the QQQ. And once I've got a comparison, once I can pull up, for example, this is the multi-chart that I use in Sector Secrets. This is how we do relative performance. And again, the emphasis on relative. Most traders don't do the relative part. They're just looking at performance. Generally, we get much more specific because stocks are a lot like schools of fish. Certain ones do move together because of their weighting and the indices and the sectors. That's the secret, by the way, the not so secret of Sector Secrets mastery. So now when I look at Meta, Google, Netflix, top 4 name, heavily weighted name in the XLC, it's going to move by and large how XLC is moving, as well as Google and Meta. Okay, what are they going to move with? They're going to move with the NASDAQ, right? So that's where we go. Index, sector, stock, NASDAQ, XLC, Netflix, right? And when those are in alignment, right? When those are moving together, the chances of follow through go up considerably. And that's what we want to focus on for sure. PARA, I'm not familiar with that one, but let's go ahead and pull it up. Paramount Global. Let's see here on a daily time frame. It's under $20, Marcus. So what I would recommend is go to TradingView. Number one, love that platform. We're going to be using it a lot more. In fact, I'm looking at possibly trying to do more TradingView here in Charts and Coffee. Look at TradingView. Pull up the volume profile, price-based volume. Gang, if you get good and comfortable and get in a habit of using price-based volume, you're going to use something that not 2 in 10 traders are using. They're still using volume histograms. They're still ignoring volume. Let them. I'm telling you all, because you all are spending time to get better at this game. Price-based volume. It's going to absolutely be a needle mover. All right. Last question for the morning. Is there one of my courses that gives access to both HPMRs and DPMRs? Robert? That gives us access to both. No, but I believe Trish is working on something. I don't know. No, right now we've done the day trading classes with HPMRs. We've done our short-term swing with DPMRs, but we haven't combined them yet. But she's always watching, so we are figuring out what we're going to be doing. I think this summer I'm going to have a small, I don't know if it's going to be live trading or class or something, but then in the fall I'll be having something. So we don't have one right now. Yeah, we don't have one right now, but stay tuned. I'm sure we'll have something at some point. All right. Be good to each other, gang. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same station.